All right, welcome back to part 21, guys. Yeah, so if you've been following this project from the beginning, from part 1, and you probably get up to this point, I'm kind of doing things a little bit up fast now, and maybe it's giving you trouble to follow me. Well, I hope not. Try to slow it down and maybe just pause the video and then do it like that. But yeah, we're doing complex projects here. And the reason why is we're doing complex surfaces and projects here because if you learn complexity, then obviously simplicity is going to be a lot easier, right? All right, so let's get started. So we got to this far last time, and then as we said, we're gonna come back and fix up this area back here, and then we need to get more closer to these edges, of course. So we're gonna jump to future through here, and then we're going to delete this mirror that we just did last time because I just wanted to see how it looks. Right, and I'm going to delete this sketch as well. And I'm going to keep the plain 10, we can use that. I'm going to delete this thicken comment here. Okay, and all we have left is the surfaces here. And I'm going to delete this, not the plane, the boundary surface. Boundary surface. I kind of want to keep the sketches here. Let's delete the boundary surface here. Okay, and we kept the sketches, which is good. All right, so what I want to do is I want to draw a straight line from this point to this point here. All right, so it's going to be a 3D sketch, and then we're going to use a spline as well. So from this point to this point here, and then exit the sketch. All right, so that's a straight line, and our second line is going to be coming. It's gonna come from this point to this point here. Okay, and then let's see. Let's do that. So it's going to be a. Let's exit this one first, and get into a brand new 3D sketch, 3D spline from this point to this point here. And let's jump to the side here. And we're going to give this line a nice profile. So we're going to pull this up to something like that. Okay, so it's going to follow that curvature very nicely. And it's going to leave plenty of space for our wheels as well to come in. All right. So that's good. Exit the sketch. All right. And also what I want to do is I'm going to pull this line a little bit more out, but first let's create the surface here. So let's go to surfaces, boundary surface, and let's select this sketch here, and then this sketch here, okay? And for direction 2, which is going to be the constraint curves, the first curve we made is this one here. It's going to be straight. That's gonna keep everything straight down here, and this curve here, which will create that beautiful curvature up to that point, right? So let's do that. Okay, so that's good. And then the second thing I want to do is I want to click on this surface here, and then click on this sketch here, and I want to edit this sketch. Okay, and I want to jump into the back, right? And I want to come into this sketch here, and I just want to pull this up to be nice and perpendicular with this sketch here, right? And I want to come on this line here and give this a profile as well. Something like that. That's good over there like that. And maybe just give this a little bit towards this way, right? So a little bit more aggressiveness on that. Okay, so let's exit the sketch and see if that surface generates. It generates perfect, and now it's much closer to this surface here, this upper surface, and that's very good. All right, so the next thing I want to do here is I want to yeah, I want to jump onto this plane here, plane 10, and first normal to profile, and then I want to draw a circle. Let's draw a circle, something like that. Exit the sketch, and let's pull this circle down about here, and pull this circle, make the circle a little bit bigger, something like that. Okay, and I want to take out this coincident relationship of the circle. I'm gonna delete this here, delete that, so I can move the circle around better. So that's basically going to be a real, but as I see, it's better if we keep that on that line. Okay, so basically now the circle tells us all we need to cut out from this part here, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab a line, a straight line, and I'm just going to draw it from the midsection all the way up from here to here. I try to keep it straight. Here, this point, exit the sketch, and I'm gonna try to trim the top part away. All right. And I'm gonna do a surface, and I'm gonna do a trim surface and see how far that sketch trims into that one, right? So it will trim in all the way into there. So let's bring up some picture here. Yeah, so as we can see, it kind of trims in almost halfway to that surface, right? So maybe if we bring this section a bit lower, you know, let's jump into view here for a second. All right, so if we bring this line a bit lower, something like that, and exit the sketch, right? And if we try to do a trim now, and the trim tool is going to be the sketch, and let's see what we get. Right? Let's jump into the back view to make sure that we are going to cut right in the middle. Okay, so I want to cut a little bit further up, actually, just a little bit further up. All right, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna pull this line up a little bit more. So we're gonna pull it up to about there. Okay, and trim surface, and then that's the trim tool, and let's have a look now. All right, so now it's exactly in the middle, approximately, and that's what I want, because the wheel then is going to be like this stick. There's also a stick out on that. So we're gonna go with something like this one. Okay, so I cut that surface out beautifully. Okay, I'm happy with that one. And now what I wanna do is I want to add some fillets actually before I thicken the surface. So let's try and add some fillets. Let's try 2 on that, 2 here, set it here, on this corner. All right, 2 looks actually pretty good. And then we try to this one tool, this one here, and let's raise that 2 to 3, and let's try 4. Actually 4 looks a lot better. All right, so we're gonna stick with 4 in this instance. Okay, and then we're going to press OK. So that looks good, but first I want to add some more surfaces here. I'm gonna delete this fillet. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna sketch on the top plane, make a sketch on the top plane, and I'm gonna convert some entities here. So I'm gonna convert these edges here. Right on the bottom of section of that. Okay. And then I'm going to jump to surfaces and let's do a boundary surface. We might actually do something else. So let's go on thicken. So let's do a thicken command here. Let's select this one. Of course, we want to thicken it to the outside, and let's try. Okay, so maybe one is not enough. So let's try 2. Actually, 1.5. All right, 1.5, 1.5. Okay, so 1.5 looks a lot better. And let's have a look at this if it thickens it for us. It did. Okay, so that created the beautiful solid body for us. And of course, we have the rear light that's going to come in here, and we have some other lights that's gonna come as well. All right, so one more thing to do is to close off this section here where the wheel is. So I'm gonna come in here to 3D sketch, and I'm going to convert these edges here so we have a sketch. Okay, so convert these edges, and then want to try and add a 3D sketch just to add some profile. So let's try and add a boundary surface first. Let's select this sketch, and that creates that beautiful closed off area there for our wheels to sit in, right? Okay, so I'm actually pretty happy with that one, so I'm gonna leave that like that. Okay, so now we have a place where our wheels are going to sit. So you jump to the side for a second, we'll see that we have a place to set our wheels. Let's just draw a circle here. So our wheel needs to sit into that thing, and that's probably, yeah, that's going to be perfect. So if you go to features and extrude, do an extrude for real quick. Let's do it this way, and if we extrude it all the way almost close to that surface there, back, okay, and press OK. All right, and if we have a look at that wheel, we can see that it's perfect and it's not touching it. All right, it's good. All right, so we're going to delete this wheel that we just made just to see. Delete it because we are going to have a lot better wheel, of course. Delete that one as well. And before we create the rear splitter, I want to extend this line a little bit further out, right? So I want to come in here and I want to get that sketch. Let's try and see if we can pull that out this way. So let's go back and find that bonder surface that we had. Bonder surface sketches here. So let's edit the sketch. Okay, and I just want to pull this line out. Obviously, delete this coincident relationship from here. Delete. And then let's pull this line out to about here. A bit further out, just a little bit. And then we're going to pull this line inwards like that. And let's close that and see if that generates that body that it did. Okay, so that's perfect. So now we have a good area where we can add our rear splitter, right? Okay, let's see that. Okay, 16 minutes, that's good. Okay, so now the surface is good and complete, and I'm happy with it, and you happy with it. Okay, we can go ahead and try to add some fillets actually. So bundle surface, that was the bundle, that was the thicken. So let's go back with the line here. Actually, that was the surface. That's a bundle surface right here. So we're gonna pull that line back all the way to here. Okay. And let's try to add these fillets without, and with actually hoping that it's not going to cause any effects. So we keep that on there, and let's skip this side here. Okay, and let's bring back the line down and see if that generates. All right, that did generate it for us very nicely, and that's exactly what I was after. Okay, that's good. All right, so all we have to do now is we're gonna come to mirror, and then for mirror face plane is going to be the front plane, and then bodies to mirror is going to be this beautiful body, it's her solid body, and this model. Okay, so let's jump now to the rear view, and now we have a good place to set our rear splitter. All right, so let's have a look at our rear splitter here. All right, so this is our rear splitter, and then of course we have a rear light that is sitting between in these edges, and we have a rear light that's sitting in these edges, so it's like almost like an X shape kind of, right? And we're going to create the rear splitter, and then of course we're going to create the rear lights as well. Okay, so we're going to do that in the next tutorial, and then I'm just going to see you back in the next tutorial. All right, see you then.